This time on Rad Rat Video, we're talking about the history of Go Skateboarding Day. Welcome to Rad Rat Video. Here on this channel, we learn something new about skateboarding 3 times a week. We're talking trick histories on the Know Your Tricks playlist. We're talking learning tricks themselves on the Shred School, and all kinds of miscellaneous skateboard topics like this one. This week, in 2 short days, is Go Skateboarding Day on the 21st. So I thought it would be a good idea to actually talk about the event, where it came from, and if it's actually legit. A lot of people wonder if it's like a sponsored company thing. Is it just a promotional thing? Where did it come from? So let's get into that. On Go Skateboarding Day itself, I want to actually go out and skate. I have a really interesting idea, I think, for a video, so I should have something interesting up on that day too, but I thought this would be a better time to actually talk about what the day is, help people prepare for it, so that we can all get out there and skate together. So before we get too into the history of it, there are 2 main players you need to know about. First is Don Brown. If you don't know Don Brown, he was a pro freestyle skater in the 80s. I think he actually won the World Championships in '89. After that, he got involved with Etnies, which became Soul Tech. They run Etnies, America, and S. The second thing you'll have to know is IASC, or the IASC, International Association of Skateboard Companies. So this is like a trade group of different skateboard brands. They kind of get together and figure out ways to promote skateboarding, promote the skateboarding industry in particular, and do all kinds of other stuff. So some of the stuff they do, they try to figure out how to get trade shows going, so they kind of can, it's like a guild, you know, they can kind of negotiate things as a group. They're also trying to work on getting health insurance for skateboarders, you know, like how to work that out and the best ways to do all that. So it's a legitimate industry group, and Don Brown is actually the chairman of the board there. So as part of the push to promote skateboarding, Don had this idea. He saw how many different other groups had their own day. I think 3 weeks ago or so, it was like National Donut Day. There's all kinds of random holidays that don't mean anything. So he's thinking, why isn't there a skateboarding one? And he had this idea because as he got more and more involved in this industry side of it, he was finding it more difficult to actually force himself to go out and actually skate. He's involved in skateboarding every day, but not actually skating as much. So he thought it'd be a good idea to have an excuse to really actually go out there and ride your skateboard. And actually, a lot of people, they criticize Go Skateboarding Day, saying that you should just skate every day. Every day is Go Skateboarding Day. But I get it. As someone who had an office job for a long time, it can be really hard. You know, you get home and you're exhausted. You just sometimes need that extra push to actually go skateboarding. So that was the idea behind it. And he started it by sending out a fax, because this was 2003, send out a fax to all these different skateboard brands who were in IASC. And the idea, this wasn't the real Go Skateboarding Day yet, but the idea was just to get a bunch of people to get together. They would meet at this spot, they would skate down to this bar, and they would just all hang out. And that was the idea. And he did that, and 30 people showed up, which he was really happy with, and they all did this, and it went really well. So what he did was he took that idea, this prototype of an idea, and took it to IASC, and they developed it into a bigger idea of like an international type of thing that they were gonna do. Don had this idea of like parades, just shutting down cities with this huge line of skateboarders doing all kinds of stuff, and that kind of did happen later. So we're up to 2003 now. I'm not sure how long that planning stage had gone, but the first Go Skateboarding Day, there was like a party, it was like a barbecue at the Etnies Park. That was in 2003. They picked June 21st. The idea behind that was that it's the longest day of the year, and so you had the most opportunity to go out and skate. Of course, it's only the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, but that's where they were located, so that's what they came up with. And as part of the promotion for the first real Go Skateboarding Day, Don went to the different skateboard publications at the time as his role as chairman of IASC. So he went to Thrasher, Transworld, and Skateboarder magazine, and they all gave him free ad placements to promote the day. You've probably seen these posters before. This is what they look like. So he went to Skateboarder. It's kind of a funny story. He went to Skateboarder, and that building also housed Surfer, and they had kind of overheard what was going on, the Surfer team, and what they did is they started International Surfing Day, in 2004. And they just kind of ripped it off. So according to Don, he's really upset about it. You should watch his 9 Club interview to get that whole story. But they technically called theirs the 3rd Saturday of the month. So every now and then it is on the 21st, but it's usually just right around that same time. And Don said it actually really failed because the surfers hated it. You can't tell everybody to go surf that day because then they'll all hog the waves, right? But with skateboarding, of course, there's plenty of room across the entire earth that you can go skate. It's not just, the coasts. So it was kind of funny that they did that. Nowadays, International Surfing Day is more about going to clean up the beaches and all that kind of stuff. But according to Don, they just completely stole Go Skateboarding Day. From that point, Go Skateboarding Day grew every year. Etnies was doing this Wild in the Streets event that you could go to on Go Skateboarding Day. Don talks about one in Philly where there were thousands of skateboarders just filling up the streets, and they didn't have any permits or anything like that. They just did it, and they just shut down the city. And he was starting to get his dream of skateboarders taking over a city to really come true. But that didn't happen all the way until he took over the 405 freeway, which was a crazy promotional thing that he came up with. This is pretty much how it went down. So this is the spot that he picked. This is the 405 freeway westbound. This is Bristol Street and Bear Street. The photographer was here on Bear Street, right on this overpass filming this way. So what they did is they got 15 cars to come along the 405 and to slow down and stop. And the first guy actually got pulled over the first time, so they had to kind of regroup. They probably came on down here somewhere. And one thing that he talks about is how they all put themselves at risk because there are these stoplights on the on-ramp. And this is something that I had never seen when I lived in the Detroit area, but I've seen them in Denver. That's the back of them right there. So if you're not familiar, these are stoplights that let you get on the ramp to help break up traffic. So they all had to run this light, all 15 of them, and they kind of risked that. But they had walkie-talkies on them so that they could all communicate and they could talk about, okay, now go down to 60, now go down to 50, now go down to 40, and plan it all. So they stopped right around right here. Don himself got out and he skated down, and it was all filmed, it was all caught on camera. And then what happened is in the video you can see he's wearing a hat and a certain t-shirt, and what he did is he took off that shirt and the hat to disguise himself. Then he went through a hole in the fence and they met up at the brewery. I'm assuming it's this one right here, but I don't know for sure. He was on foot, so he probably didn't go that far. And so that is the story of how they promoted Go Skateboarding Day. And that was actually a really crazy thing that Don did because, well, they didn't block the on-ramp. You can see there are actually cars coming down. It's just most of the traffic is gone. But Don's a crazy guy. You should watch his 9 Club interview and see some of the stuff that he does.
You're gonna snort the salt.
Yes.
Take the shot and squirt. You're gonna open your eye?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
That sucks.
From there, Go Skateboarding Day grew every year until 2007, where Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez sponsored getting Go Skateboarding Day to be an official national holiday. So it's just as official as National Donut Day or Be Nice to Your Executive Assistant Day and all that kind of stuff, just as legit as Don envisioned it back in the day. So that's pretty cool. It's also becoming more legit in certain cities. They'll make their own events for it. What happened was, this was happening anyway. You'd have all these skaters get together, go down the streets, block off stuff, and just have their own event anyway. So they figure the different cities are starting to get on board with it because you can either sponsor it and try to keep it safe and plan it out, or you can try to give tickets to 2,000 people. So we've kind of just forced this event into existence, and I think that's pretty cool. So this year I'm going to be celebrating Go Skateboarding Day by going out and skateboarding. I can't wait for you guys to see what I come up with for that day. Hopefully it ends up being good and it doesn't rain, but tune in for that. Make sure you subscribe so you can keep learning something new about skateboarding 3 times a week. And until next time, here's some more videos you might want to check out. Here's some stuff from the Shred School, maybe if you want to learn a new trick on Go Skateboarding Day. All this stuff is available right here, and thank you for watching.